All right, Shalom. We
Come
want to start off with all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem,
Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahushai,
Ba'ashem,
Hashem,
Rakakadash.
Rakakwadash.
Double honor to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Peace and salutations to you, brothers, to the four corners of the earth, preaching His word and also laboring in His word in truth, love, and sincerity. May blessings fall upon the houses of the 1/3. We just coming at you with another quick lesson with the Spirit. And today's lesson, we're going to go into rags to riches. Okay. And basically, we're going to speak on how Israel, the children of Israel, is going to be restored back to the state of glory. Okay. And being a part of the state of glory is what? Having, the earth in our possession as it was made for us from the beginning. Okay. Being unified back with our true powers, having our holy land, having everything. You see? So that's what we're gonna go into today. Back to rags and riches. Because right now you look at the state of Israel today, and I mean the state for us as the people, we're through. We don't have anything. We are in a desolate state, spiritually, mentally, physically. You see, for all that's being changed as we speak. You know, but right now it's at a spiritual aspect, but eventually it's going to what get physical.
That's right.
Okay. Anybody got a scripture off what I just said, or you want to jump straight into it?
Well,
Matter of fact,
basically,
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
second Ezra,
yeah, yeah.
when we get it, I'll get it.
You going to second Ezra 6?
Right.
I got it pulled up. Now, you made a statement I wanted to land back on before you get that. Haggai 2 and 9, because you talked about basically being restored into the glory that we had previously, right? So Haggai 2 and 9 says, matter of fact, I might have to, yeah, I started 9. The glory of this latter house shall be greater than of the former, saith Yahweh of hosts. And in this place will I give peace, saith Yahweh of hosts. There's probably some more on that. We might go back into it. But yeah, we're going to be returned to that former glory, and it's going to be greater than it used to be. Go ahead,
Right.
bro.
That's right, bro.
And
Hey, that's a beautiful scripture, beautiful point.
I got
You know.
second Ezra pulled up too, 6 and 5, 6.
Okay. All right.
Where you want me to start at?
50. I
At
want to say
57,
54.
54. Okay, yeah, we can do that. Second Ezra 6 and 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All
Mm-hmm.
this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes.
Right. So right there is letting you know that the Lord has a chosen people, right, that was separated out of the sons of Adam. Which that line ended up going to who? The seed of Israel. Okay. So that's letting you know that out of all the people out of the whole earth, there is a chosen people. And those chosen people happens to be the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Whatever, no matter what they look like or what land they was born in, no matter their skin tone. Okay, I'm gonna get a precept back here real quick. The book of Psalms, this book of Psalm 135. Is that 135 verse 4? It says, "For the Lord have chosen Jacob unto Himself, and Israel for His peculiar treasure." You see, so He already had chosen us as a nation to be His people.
That's right.
All right. Okay, that's
Right.
on you.
You seem like you had something you wanted to say earlier, Daniela. You had something to chime in with.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, just going into how the scripture, what the bro say, basically we're gonna receive everything,
Mhm.
receive power and dominion over all the earth and the
Mhm.
people in therein. Okay. This is Psalms chapter 2 and verse. Let me start at.
Hey,
Let me start at 8. Yeah, 8. It says, "Acts of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Right. So just going into what the bro said earlier about receiving everything on the earth, and especially these heathens, right? Just as it said in Second Ezra that the bro Azariah read, you know, that the world was made for our sakes,
right?
You know,
Right. It's a little more on that too, unless you had something, Ariella.
There's a little more on there.
Yeah, you want me to keep reading in 6 or 2? Which one? Psalms 2? You want Daniela to continue or me?
Daniela,
Go ahead, bro.
Okay.
Go ahead, bro.
This is verse 9. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel.
Right. So, but
it says, be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth.
Right. How are we gonna be instructed? How are we gonna be wise? The Holy Scripture. Is that when we read the book of forget the book of Deuteronomy, it tells the king that he must, basically be learned and do things by the way of the Scripture. Roughly paraphrased.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can find that real quick. But as we have that inheritance, right? As we have that authority, right? That's why we're going to be breaking you into pieces. Okay, that's why we're going to be beating you with a rod of iron, because what we are going to be in rulership, righteous rulership at that.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. That's Deuteronomy 17 and 18, brother.
That's what it is. Okay, so I'll get it real quick. Deuteronomy 17 and 18. Or you already got to pull it up.
Yeah, I can grab. Yeah, I can grab it right here. Deuteronomy 17 and 18 says, let me see. I might need to start at 17. Deuteronomy 17 and I'll just go straight to 18. This is talking about things for the king, the way the king should operate. Deuteronomy 17 and 18, and it shall be when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom that he shall write him a copy of this law in a book, that out of that which is before the priests of the Levites, and it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear Yahweh his power, to keep all the words of this law and these statutes, to do them. That his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, that he turn not aside from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, and he and his children in the midst of Israel. So, like the brother said, this is how we be instructed. Be instructed, ye kings of the earth. As a matter of fact, I was going to pull it, but I just quoted in Wisdom of Solomon. It says, "Wisdom, the desire of wisdom, leadeth to a kingdom." Roughly paraphrasing.
Okay. Wisdom bringeth into a kingdom.
Yeah, that's it. Right. And contrary to popular beliefs, like the brother Daniela was going, or his scripture was going into, these heathens, will be an inheritance of the children of Israel, because people always like to go into this whole thing about the salvation being for all nations and Yahushua coming and dying for all nations. No, you nations are going to be a part of the things that the children of Israel inherit. You want to say something, brother? Ariella?
Exactly. That, because in what they're saying is definitely not biblical, and that's one of the lessons I went into, dealing with how John 3:16 is not an invitation for you heathen to be joined unto us, because you people are, and there's so many ways we can break that madness down, because you say, okay, well, what they say, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, right? Whoever believeth on him, something to that effect. But then it's like, wait a minute, this time about the whole world. How does that make sense when, like you said, the heathen is going to be our possession in the kingdom?
Right.
How does that make sense? We need to know these different answers. I mean, and this is what Christianity has done to our people. How are you people talking about y'all are going to be saved with us and saved in the kingdom? And it's just mind-boggling, because when they talk about being saved and all these different things, they have really no understanding what they're talking about.
Right.
They don't know that when we speak about salvation, this is talking about us having rest and things like that.
Right.
And saved from our enemies, But it's like, how are you going to be doing with us when you're going to be under our foot? That's a part of the promise.
It says a false balance is an abomination with the Most High, but we're going to have a few of the, because the elect is going to be 144,000 of the children of Israel. But let's just say entertain their narrative that the elect is any, who the Lord chooses from all nations. So it's going to be a few of them nations, and then the rest of the billions of them is going to be in captivity, and not going to have the law written in their book. It don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. That's not a righteous balance. Okay.
Yeah, and that wouldn't be righteous too, because we're gonna nation of Israel, they're gonna be glorified, right? So how can you make the difference between glory and something that is not that's not glorified if you don't have those two? So you're gonna have rulers, right? And with rulers you need servants. That's balance.
Yep.
You know?
Yep, and it's only right since y'all did it to us, man. Render double unto them, man. Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast rewarded of us, man. And it's some more on Second Esdras, unless you got something to say.
Go ahead, bro. Yeah.
Second Esdras 6:56. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. So, like the scriptures just say, this is the sentiment that the Lord has towards the heathen. Okay. And we're going to get back on track here by the time we finish reading this, but just briefly going into that, man, the abundance of them is like a drop from a vessel, or like spit. You spit something on the ground, it's going to eventually dry up and evaporate. That's the abundance of the heathen to the Most High. Nothing. Verse 57. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, that's the reputation as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. And this is the point, verse 59. And if the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not?
Block it, bro, because you skipped over some.
My bad. Go ahead. Yep.
How? Read that last part again.
Verse 58, Second Esdras 6:58. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands.
Whose hands? We can give into the hands of the heathen.
Yep, to our enemies.
But you know that these special people has been given over into the heathen. But why? Why does that take place? Well,
Right.
When we get to the book of Deuteronomy 28, it's going to explain furthermore of why this has even took place.
Right. So we're going to pose this question that there's posed here in Second Esdras, then we're going to answer it with Deuteronomy. Second Esdras 6:59. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? So let's find out.
And that's what Ezra wanted to know. And Ezra knew, like, hold on, okay, so we're your chosen people, and all this belongs to us. But for some reason, why are we trodden down? Why aren't we ruling everything?
Right. Why we ain't got nothing?
Go ahead.
I was just saying, why we ain't got nothing? You said it's ours. Why we so at the bottom?
Right.
Got the Deuteronomy pulled up, brother?
Okay. Yeah, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. It said, it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
It says, and all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shalt.
Did you want him to go through the whole all the blessings?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the increase of thine kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way, and flee before thee 7 ways. The Lord shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and all that thou settest thine hand unto, and he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee. The Lord shall establish thee and holy people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy power, and walk in his ways. And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of Yahweh, and they shall be afraid of thee. And the Lord, right, and the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers to give thee. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hand. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. If that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord Yahweh thy power, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them, and not thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods to serve them. Right. So those are all the blessings. Right now, this is really going into answering the question. You know, why are we spoiled, basically? You
Right.
know, why are we beneath and the heathens above us?
Right.
Right.
If this was your mind to give us all these wonderful things, then why don't we have any of that? Go ahead, bro.
Okay. It says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
There you go. So from not obeying the word of the Lord, you see what ended up taking place after a while. The curses started to come upon us. All the Instead of all the riches, we went from straight rags. And what do I mean by that? Because remember, we under King David, right? As he was conquering all the nations, taking them down to the point where King Solomon had the time of rest. Okay, when he was ruling, but then Solomon ended up going off, right? And then he ended up getting the kingdom split in half. And then from there, it was downhill. It was all downhill from that. But going back into with these curses, which was going to be a future prophecy that end up coming upon us, right? Which is still upon us now until Yahweh Shah comes forth. These different curses, we can equate them as being applied to us as now being our rags, us being spoiled, not having anything. Because when you go, as the brother read the first Deuteronomy 1:14, it talks about the blessings. It talks about our storehouses being plenty, us having the land with the good cattle, us being the nations being afraid of us, and when nations are afraid of you, they bow down to you, they give you everything because they get so scared of you, you know. Um, how you're just blessed in the city, blessed in the field, your ground has a good fruit to increase, all those just different things that people might not think of, of now because of the way society is. But all those different things you need, those are a lot of those are daily necessities for people. Food, cattle, different things. You need all that to be a fruitful nation too. You can't be a fruitful nation without having no food.
Right.
And those just little aspects I'm speaking of. Go ahead, bro.
Right. And to add on to that, man, the word bless means to kneel. Right. So hey, we ain't gonna truly be blessed until these nations are kneeling before us. You know, till these nations are kneeling before us, and then all these different resources on the earth are basically yielding forth their strength unto us. You know, in the sense of kneeling. You know, being blessed.
That's right.
Yep.
And I want to give put forth this analogy in the scriptures. Just basically going into our rags, and going into the overall theme of what we're going into right this minute. Luke 16 and 21. No, actually, Luke 16 and 19. You didn't have that pulled up, did you? About Lazarus. Okay, there was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. And this goes into Esau and the other nations, And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus which was laid at his gate full of sores. Okay,
Yeah,
and
the rich man with that purple clothes, which when you go into that color purple, goes into royalty.
Royalty, yep.
Royalty. So that rich man that is speaking, and that's like you said, the brother you said the parable.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, Christians fuck this the hell out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the parable with Lazarus. I mean, the rich man and Lazarus, and rich man representing Edom.
Edom, yep, Esau, and these other nations in their king, in their rulership, but primarily Esau, man.
Yeah, but it talks about the nations. So those are the dogs that licked our swords.
Yep, exactly. Yep, you're right. Yep. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores. Okay, so yeah, that's us, man. Basically laying there in them rags, all messed up, all jacked up, all wounded, need to breach a ceiling up. This is us as a nation, Verse 21 and desiring. Go ahead. You said we hurt.
No, I said the curses.
The curses, yeah. Verse 21 and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. Okay. So yeah, that's basically the point I want out of that. That represents the nation of Israel right now, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we just go ahead. Sorry.
No,
you good.
Oh no, I was just back up in the nations. I mean, the dogs. Those are those nations, man, because they come. What they come and do is they don't help Jake out. They just come. They come to add on to our affliction. So they the ones that's lifting our swords, making it worse.
Yep. What does it say? Jeremiah, I forget what it is. I think it might be 21 you or 12. But basically it says, my nation is my heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. Come ye assemble all the beasts of the field, come ye to devour, and that's what they do, man. They come round about the nation of Israel and they devour us, man. They eat up our resources and they go in our neighborhoods and they, that's why Jake think they can solve their problem by so-called controlling the black dollar and supporting so-called black businesses, but the Lord ain't gonna allow you to prosper. But it just shows you that Jake is aware, okay, that these other nations are soaking up all of our resources.
Yep.
They know that we're one of the biggest spenders, and Jake think that by keeping that money within the so-called black community that we could rise up out of our condition, but it ain't gonna happen that way.
Right, because these other nations, man, you notice when you walk in their stores, they got everything that Jake like to buy.
Yep.
Whether it be folly, weaves, right?
Yep.
Makeup, bongs for smoking weed.
Hey, you can go in there and buy little things for smoking crack. They got all that. You can buy bags for bagging up your drugs. You can buy all type of stuff in these little bodegas and these little stores, man, in the hood.
You know what though? I'm not even mad at other nations because they're thinking like business people. Yeah. What does these niggas want? Okay, we're gonna get what these niggas want. We gotta get the money. Somebody gotta get it. So niggas want this, we're gonna get that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Jake ignorant, so Jake just want to destroy it. So I mean, cause I know because when I was in the world, certain shit I wanted at a store, I used to tell the heathens like, "Hey, bro, you need to get this. Oh, should I get this? I'm like, get these, get this. Yeah. What do you think happened next week?
They had them. Yep, because they knew you was gonna come by that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So they know how to make money off of us, but that also goes with our ignorance too and our folly.
Yep, it's all set up through the Lord.
All set up, right?
Okay. All right. Continuing. This is
what I said, 33, I believe.
Oh, you want me to start at 33?
You know what? Start at 30, and then jump to 33.
All right. This is getting into the curses. Deuteronomy 28 and 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof.
And I'm just going into the point where is thou shalt what? We plan to build a house, but we ain't gonna dwell in the house. We plant a vineyard, and the things of the vineyard is not gonna belong to us.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be for someone else.
Yeah.
Verse 31.
The 31, thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt not have none uh, have none to rescue them.
Mhm.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fall with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. Ooh. The
That's
the
good.
fruit of the fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed alway.
All right, so you can jump to verse 41. So just going in them verses alone, it's talking about, and people don't know that a part of having riches is not this modern day money today. Cattle is riches. Different jewels were considered riches like silver, gold, cattle, land, children. So what the brother just read is talking about your sons and daughters being taken away. We know that all was dealing with like captivity, slavery, right? All of those was a part of your inheritance of having riches, because the way how our nation rolled, everything was set to work in like a order, So that's like when you're far as like when we had a daughter and she was to get married off, or someone was to come, what's the word? I believe Aina,
Humble.
Aina daughter,
I not.
right? You would that father would have to pay 50 shekels because of what? Because that your daughter was a
She was a commodity.
come on, right?
She was right. She was a precious resource.
Yeah, okay, yeah, 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 yeah. Because what
Right.
did your daughter do? The mother and the daughter, she helped by sew, plant, different things where it was helpful, not just laying around the house.
Right.
So
Right.
that's why you have to give up something for your daughter, because you were taking away, like the brother said, a resource,
Yep. Yep. Taking
when
away
that
one of
help,
your servants.
right,
Yep.
right,
Basically like a servant to you. And
yeah,
that, yeah, like you said, that's why she was worth something. That's why there was a dowry that had to be paid. An agreement that had to be made in order to release her. Typically. And also, even when you think about, like the brother was going into about resources, basically resources being wealth. When you think about how a lot of these people, like even that documentary went into, I keep bringing it up every now and again, how big oil conquered the world. It wasn't
Right.
until they had uses and they created uses for the petroleum. It wasn't until then that them having control over that resource became lucrative. When you have things that people need and you have control over them, then you
Mhm.
you gain the power through that. If you have a big thing of water on your land and people need water, then that's how you can control. Even look at the time of Egypt. Okay, when Joseph was set up as the overseer, they had the food when everybody else didn't have the food. And so he was able to make certain demands. Bring me your cattle, do this, do that, go do this. And people was like, okay, we ain't got no choice because y'all got the food, you know? So
Right.
those
The
resources,
commodities.
yeah, the commodities, those resources give you that power, you know?
yep, yep, yep. That's true.
Right. And then, hey, in the kingdom, we're gonna have, the elect are gonna have the nation of Israel. Might I add, because all Israel shall be saved with everlasting salvation.
Mm-hmm.
The nation of Israel, they're gonna have rule over the entire land, the entire earth. You know, all the resources that are on the earth. Okay, is gonna be under our control.
That's right.
right? So then, hey, we'll have all the power. Even the people. The people are resources too, because they're
Yeah.
useful, right? You can use them for something, just like they use us to build up this nation,
Yeah.
right? And to push to uh to have their different companies operate, right? We're gonna use them to have our enterprises, operating, man, building up our houses and palaces and temples, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. That's what the scriptures say. The stranger shall build up thy walls and shall stand and feed thy flocks. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's exactly right. You know.
Gun.
Yep.
All right. So what we going into now?
Brothers at 43.
43. This is Deuteronomy
Yeah,
chapter.
43 to 43, 44, and then jump to 48.
All right. Deuteronomy 28 and 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall
Right.
be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
There you go. So we gonna be placed on the bottom, and you see that today. You see, to the point where they barely lend to us as it is, but we gotta they lend to us a little bit. They lend to us. They penny pinch us.
Yep.
Oh, so when you go back to like the brother said with that rich man and Lazarus parable, what did it say, bro? It said, we eating from crumbs off from the table.
Mm-hmm.
Literally,
Mhm.
this little shit Esau give us, man. Hey, because if Esau snap his finger and take away something, bro, we hurt.
It's funny you said that too, because one example that comes to mind, I go to this little Indian restaurant, right? And
Yeah,
what is the Elamites that own it? Yeah. So every now and again, he'll give me like some extra food off the buffet that they don't want to throw away, this, that, and the other. And it kind of thinks about that's like the crumbs. It's like almost like the little lending unto us thing. Because when you go to a Jake Round establishment, you'll get nothing free. You barely get something free. You might get something free. But for the most part, you ain't getting nothing free, man. Because Jake ain't really got it like that to give you, you know. And then also the
Right.
curses, you know. So we ain't lending to them. they lending to us, you know, in just that small example, you know.
Gun. Yeah. Hey, and us trying to get the crumbs off the table, just using that parable. Yeah, man. These elites, they have all the commodities, man. And oil, they made oil a commodity, right?
Right,
The
yep.
food, the oil, because you use oil for about almost your cars, it's used for about almost everything.
Almost
Makes
everything,
things
yeah.
flow,
Yeah.
right? Uh, uh,
Yeah.
the food,
The
um,
medicine.
the
A lot of,
medicine.
yeah. Yeah. A lot of stuff now is petroleum based and petroleum derived, and petroleum's in a lot of stuff, man.
It is
Plastic, the plastic industry goes into
right.
that whole petroleum thing, or the gas, oil thing. Because isn't gasoline a byproduct of oil?
Yeah,
And then the gasoline goes into the production of plastic. So they pushed it into everything, man. You know?
yeah, right. Just like hey man, just like Esau uses pork, and he puts it in basically everything, man,
Yeah. Yeah, he
which is
does.
filthy. But yeah, man, these are literally crumbs, man. The little things that these different so-called black celebrities get, you know, what they might be a billionaire, right, a millionaire.
Right.
That ain't nothing compared to the elites, man. They own the entire world,
Yeah, what they
right?
call.
Job 9 and 24. Earth
Earth.
is given into the hand of the wicked.
That's right. That's
So
right.
they,
Yeah,
they
because when you think about during the time of back to that documentary, man, during the time where the average yearly income was $500 and something dollars, the Rockefeller was a damn a billionaire. So imagine how far removed they are from these athletes and these superstars in this day and age. Trillion, gajillion, numbers you couldn't even think about.
hmm
You know what I mean? Tied in with the people that print the money. Tied
right,
in with these diamond racketeering, things where this this stone that's not even precious because of the abundance, it's falsely made to be precious. All these different things they're tied into, and the money they touch, man, Jake couldn't even imagine, the power that they have. They're literally in their rulership, man. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Plus, hey, they took over the food industry. They own the cattle, right? They
Right.
got cattle. They got all the gold and the silver, right? And
Yep.
they got the gold and the silver and they got everybody else pushing these paper fiat money,
Mm-hmm.
They got all the resources,
Yep.
right? But hey man, that's about to be taken away from them and given unto us,
That's
right?
right.
In righteousness.
That's right. It ain't gonna profit them in the day of wrath, man.
Okay.
Gonna do them no good.
But
Is there some more on that?
yeah, this is Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Right. So you're gonna serve them in one of all things, man. Just goes to show you again, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Jake, that Jake we had come up to the camp last week when we was trying to break that down to him. He's, well, you can go off grid, you can do that. No, Jake. Everything you buy, man. Everything you buy, even these tools, that you feel like you're gonna use to go off grid, and you're gonna get you some solar panels. Man, you getting all that from Esau, man.
Right.
You're getting all that from Esau, man. The seeds that you're gonna use to plant, and you know what I'm saying, all these little different things, you're getting it all from Esau, man.
Yeah.
And or Moab, made in China. Either way, you're getting it from your enemy.
Good.
That's that prophecy coming to pass.
Right. And it says, he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until thou be destroyed. Until he have destroyed thee.
Right.
Right? So yoke of iron, who had the yoke of iron upon their neck? What other nation had a yoke of iron upon their neck? Right? The so-called black man.
Yep.
Right? The slaves, they had yokes of iron upon their necks, man.
Right. And they ain't no telling what they had to do to transport our native and our Northern Kingdom brethren out off of this land to the other places. How they whatever they did to them. They probably had something that wasn't documented as far as some type of yoke of iron or chain or something. Who knows, man? You can't, because Gad was, the Northern Kingdom was giving their ass hell, man. So
Right.
I'm pretty sure they probably had to lock them down before they got them up out of here. So hey, they're just speculating.
Okay. Yeah, the tribe of Gad, the sector part, the Teton Sioux, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Teton Sioux gave the colonists the most, some of the most rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah, resistance outside of the Seminole Indians. They weren't with it. They didn't trust these devils at first.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
You tell you where to stop it.
Yeah, that's the point he wanted to get at 48.
So I guess so now that we understand why we're in this estate, because we broke the Most High's commandments, now let's go into what's going to happen at the end. What do we have to look forward to? Saying if we be a part of the elect, and eventually, like the brother mentioned earlier, all of Israel will be saved with an everlasting salvation.
Mm-hmm.
But what do we have to look forward to? So let's see. I can start it.
Let's get into.
You got something?
Yeah. Let me grab this, because this is what the prophets always wanted to know, man. Right? Just like the question that was posed from Ezra, hey, this is all made for us, but why don't we have it? Why is what when are we gonna get this? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is Acts chapter. Let me grab it. The book of Acts, chapter 1 and verse 6. It says, and this is when all the disciples are gathering unto Yahushua. It says, when they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? right? So when you go into that word restore again in the Greek, it's apokathisthemi, right? Which means to reform, to restore to its former state. So as we mentioned earlier in the video, there was a former the former state of us having rule over everything was during the time periods of King David and Solomon, right? That's when we had the rule, right? And when it says the kingdom, it's talking about the word for kingdom here is basileia, which means royal power, kingship, dominion, rule. It says the royal power of Hamashiach as the triumphant Messiah. But you get the point, right? The power. When are we gonna get to rule again? When are we gonna get to have power and dominion over the earth again? Right? And this is verse 7. It says, and he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father had put in his own power. But yeah, that was the point. The point there in verse 6. You know, the prophets always they want to know, you know, when we're gonna get this power. You know, when we're gonna get to rule again.
That's right. You know, and that's why through the scriptures we have comfort of knowing when we'll have it again. You know, when the Messiah returns and delivers us from the hand of them that hate us, right? You know,
right.
That's when it'll be returned unto us. Okay. Let's see here. I want to get this. You got something, brother Ariella? I got a precept. I'm gonna read this. Wisdom of 10.
I really don't know where y'all. I know what y'all speaking on, but I don't.
We're just getting back into how we gonna see. We basically what we was going into is how we know now why we in this state we in now. You know how we gonna get it back. What do we have to look forward to? Basically, Wisdom of Solomon 10 and 14. Okay, when the righteous was sold, she forsook him not, but delivered him from sin. She went down with him into the pit, and left him not in bonds till she brought him the scepter of the kingdom and power against those that oppressed him. As for them that had accused him, she showed them to be liars and gave him a perpetual glory. If I'm not mistaken, this is going into wisdom. Yeah, this is going into wisdom. Like we started off earlier talking about. If be instructed, you rulers of the earth. Them that come into this, them that seek after the Most High, with all their being, will have a chance to be a part of the elect. And they will be rulers. They'll be rulers. Matter of fact, I got that precept that we quoted earlier. Okay, Wisdom of Solomon 6 and 20. Therefore, the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom. If your delight be then in thrones and scepters, O ye kings of the people, honor wisdom that ye may reign forevermore. Okay, so I probably should have read that before I read that other one. But basically, that's wisdom. The wisdom that brings you out of them low conditions and gives you that scepter of a kingdom. The wisdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, seeking that, seeking righteousness, seek meekness. It may be that you may be hid in the day of trouble, right? And what's righteousness? The ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So I'm gonna read that again. Wisdom of Solomon 10 and 14. Okay, and 13. When the righteous was sold, she forsook him not, talking about wisdom, but delivered him from sin. She went down with him into the pit and left him not in bonds till she brought him the scepter of the kingdom and power against those that oppressed him. As for them that had accused him, she showed them to be liars and gave him perpetual glory. See? So that's going to be the story of the elect. That's going to be the story of them that endure,
Right. And who are the people who are accusing us, man?
That's right.
Esau, Edom.
Yep.
Right. Just as it says in hey, let me grab it real quick, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just as it says here in Psalms chapter 50. Psalms chapter 50 and where's it at?
Oh, 21. Yeah, I was about to grab that. That's the spirit.
Yeah. Psalms chapter 50 and 21.
You might start above that a little bit, but the point I want to get was
right there at 20. It says, "Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son."
That's right.
Right. So Esau is our accuser, man. Mm-hmm. He slanders us, man. Right. He lies on us. right? And we're gonna have power and glory over him. You know,
Yep. We're going to the next one right after that.
verse 21. It says, "These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I
Mhm.
will reprove thee,
Right.
and I will set them in order before thine eyes."
Right. See, yep, that's the point. That's the spirit. That's what I want to get, backing up what it says in Wisdom of Solomon 10 and 14. I'll just read the section of it. That's the point. As for them that had accused him, she showed them to be liars and gave him perpetual glory. You see?
Hmm.
So like the brother just said, thou sittest and slandereth thine own mother's son, and I thought that I was altogether one such as thyself. Well, she showed them to be liars, and she's gonna set up the nation of Israel before their eyes.
Okay.
Hey, they're gonna be it talks about the strangers of the salvation, they're gonna see it. I have to grab that.
Yep.
Right.
Go ahead, bro. Got a
Okay.
precept.
And they're seeing it right now, man. They're seeing the kingdom of heaven being built up right now,
Or
right?
the third temple.
Kind, the third temple, the lively stones, right? We're lively because once we receive this wisdom, it awakens us, and we start to, just as it says in Ezekiel 37, we stand upon our feet, an exceeding great army. You know,
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
Yep. Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Back up what I was saying earlier. Then shall a righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of
Mhm.
such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. Because they look at us like niggas, man. Verse 3. And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools counted his life madness and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of the Most High and his lot among the saints? You see, so the elect are gonna be taken out because right now, like the scriptures say, we're the offscouring of the whole world. We're looked at as the filth of the earth, man. Especially us at GMS, man. You know, people think we the worst of the worst, man. But we're gonna be, they're gonna be, damn, how is he numbered among, Lord, wouldn't we be in that number, man? You know. So yeah,
Well,
that's the true rags to riches. Go ahead, brother Salaki.
Book of Psalms 92, 98, Slok. That's the book of Psalms 98, verse 1. It says, "Oh, sing unto the Lord a new song, for he have done marvelous things. His right hand and his holy arm have gotten him the victory.
Mm.
The Lord have made known his salvation. His righteousness have he openly showed in the sight of the heathen.
Mm.
He have remembered his mercy and his truth toward the house of Israel. All the ends of the earth have seen the salvation of our power." See, so all these nations are going to see, man. Okay, they're truly going to see that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which were despised, that those are the Lord's people,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
man. That's all they're gonna. That's why they made that clip when they see people getting beamed up when it was like it was all black people, so to speak, right?
Hmm.
But all it's like saying the color black, but it just made a representation like, you know, only people that's gonna be getting beamed up is Israelites, man.
Yep. Jakes. Yep. And the brother GMS 144 Awakening Ba. I forget, I don't know the brother's name directly, but he just did a video where they got this new, I think it's a Nike commercial, where they're
Okay.
basically depicting the end times. And you see Jakes. Jakes is walking around talking about Nikes and it's a wonderful day. It's just destruction around them and stuff. And the chariots is there's missiles is flying and all this other stuff. And Jake sitting there chasing after shoes. There's damn zombies everywhere. And Jake's
Yeah.
just like, la la la, yeah, look at these shoes. These are fire. Getting beamed up in the sky and all type of stuff. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very spiritual commercial that they made there,
Yeah, very
especially with that
interesting.
one day getting beamed up. You
Yep.
know, and the whole thing, man, with the wisdom. How I viewed it is those Jakes. It was calm.
Yep.
Everybody else is in a panic. He was like, "Don't you know it's the end of the world?" She's like, yeah, but
It's a beautiful day.
They said it's the week of greatness.
Right. Yep, that's true.
Say this is the week of greatness.
That's true. Hey, and you know what? Hey, Lord willing, the Lord put the spirit on us, during those times, if we be that number, because it even talks about you see, I think it said that you're gonna laugh at calamity.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can get that real quick. Then we can go to these other precepts. All right. Job 5, okay. Job 5 and 22. Let me pull it up in the KJV. Job 5. Oh crap. Salakia. 1 second. Job 5. Okay. And 20. Oh, damn. Yeah, as a matter of fact, let me see.
What you touching on now?
I'm Job 5 and 19. We were just talking about the commercial, and just a precept popped in mind, because like we were saying in that commercial about Nike, the Jakes is walking around calm, So this just a precept kind of backing up how the elect gonna be during that time or the minute of the Lord. Job 5 and 19, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of the destruction when it cometh. Verse 22, at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. So just kind of, tying into the Jake's mindsets during that particular commercial, when basically Jacob's trouble and the other pestilences and the other plagues of Egypt had hit, and they was in full effect, and Jake was walking around talking about shoes and crap. Which, of course, the men of the Lord ain't gonna be talking about no damn shoes, but the mindset is not gonna be like the rest of the people. If the spirit of the Lord is on you, you're not gonna be troubled like these other people, man.
Mm-hmm.
These other people gonna be losing their damn shit out here, man. And then, go ahead. What'd you say, brother?
Folly is set in great dignity.
That's right. That's right. And these people gonna be losing their shit, but the men of the Lord is gonna have the spirit on them, to think logically still, and to still, okay, well, the Lord said this is gonna happen. I just gotta endure. Let me get out the way. Let me, the Lord said He's gonna protect me, so hey, pray to the Lord and say a prayer and keep it moving,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So hey, I got some more precepts.
Any brother got Isaiah 60?
Isaiah 60 or 61?
61, 60, and Revelation, the 2nd chapter.
Okay, I got Isaiah 61.
Okay, I get 60.
Okay, that's a good one too. I'm gonna read this one first though.
All right.
Revelation what? What you want from Revelation again, Salaki?
Revelation 2, 2nd chapter.
All right, Revelation 2. Where we starting at? Oh, you said you're gonna read something first?
Yeah, I had to fix my camera because I gotta move something out the way for it.
Okay.
Oh, I just do.
Yeah, boy. Let me see here. I'm gonna say that one for last. Man, I got some good ones. Hey, because we got righteous, we got great. Hey, the kingdom, the scriptures say, no, I have not heard, no, ear have not heard, no, I have seen the things that the Lord has in store for them that love Him or that fear Him.
Right.
So, hey, man, it's gonna be glorious in the kingdom beyond measure, beyond what we could even describe. Go ahead, brother.
So, as brothers was going into, right, different things comes with your riches and your glory. So, like the brother said, having heathens as servants in our possession, that's a part of having riches. Having cattle, having the whole entire earth. So, to having the abundance of the earth, that's equated with our riches. Okay, and not only that, the riches that we have that will be physically, we'll have the almost, I want to say, spiritual riches that will be manifest right now, because we do have spiritual riches, or also known as The hidden riches, I'll get it. The book of Isaiah 45, verse 43, it says, "And I will give thee the treasures of darkness and the hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I am the Lord which called thee by thy name, am the God of Israel." And that never changed. Okay? That never changed. So the people that's only going to get these, first of all, it's going to be the elect is going to get the hidden riches, right? Those treasures that's in the dark places, the elect, but only Israel. When you go to Amos, what is it? The third chapter says, "My secrets are revealed unto the servants of prophets, all Israelites, all
right.
Israelites." But what I'm going into saying is, these riches that we'll have will be manifest all throughout the earth, and will be openly known. Okay, it won't be no more kind of hidden, so to speak, where it's like, oh, these are the people of the Lord, and the Lord ain't dealing with them. No, it's going to be known that the Lord is dealing with these people right here. Period. You see, because remember when we read in, the brother read in Deuteronomy 28, it says, I get it real quick again. It says, Deuteronomy 28 verse 10, it says, "And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee." So they're going to know the Lord is dealing with us. You see? And then it goes back further than that when we read Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, when they say what? We got the wisdom.
I got
the
it.
Wisdom.
I got it. Deuteronomy 4 and 6. "Keep therefore and do them for this, Salakia. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations." Which
Read
shall
up,
hear. Read up a little bit, Salakia. Yep. All right. Deuteronomy 4 and verse 5. "Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahweh my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people."
Mm-hmm.
For what nation is there so great who have the Most High so nigh unto them, as Yahweh our power is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? And there's another precept that comes to mind that says, "Give not that which is profitable unto another nation, unto another." And what's profitable to you is these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. That's these laws, statutes, and commandments. So go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a scripture because before when King Solomon and King David were in rule and we had power over the earth, the kingdom of heaven now, man, it's gonna be way better than that. We're not just gonna have power over the earth, but we're gonna have power over other planets, man.
Mm-hmm.
Other planets. This is John 14 and 2. And this is in red. So Yahweh Shai is saying this. It says, "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would not have told you. I go to prepare a place for you." Right? And the Most High's house is in the heavens, man. Right? That's where he established his throne.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that word for mansions in the Greek is Monet, which means a staying, abiding, a dwelling, abode. To make one's abode. This is metaphorically of the Most High, the spiritual, the holy spiritual indwelling of believers. But the point is, it's a dwelling place, right? Just like we dwell here on the earth, there's other planets to dwell, right?
Yeah, that word Monet also kind of sounds like moon. It's like moon. Go ahead.
Be able to inhabit those different places, because what our bodies is going to be changed.
Yep. It'll be glorified bodies, man.
Or as they say, extraterrestrial, huh? Yeah.
That's right.
All right, I got one.
Come.
Are you done on yours, Daniela?
Yeah. That's it right there.
All right, I got one. The book of Amos 9 verse 11, right? Because as we was going into, the curses for from rags from riches to rags. I mean rags to riches. I'm tripping. From rags to riches, right? Amos 9 verse 11 it says, "In that day I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old." As the brother said, it's going to be better than it was before.
That's right.
But he's going to build up. He's going to establish it as in the days of old. You know, we're going to be joined together as one again. It is because under King David was what? Last when we were two nations. I mean, one nation, one nation. But once Solomon did his madness, and when we got under his son, we ended up being split in two.
Right.
Okay. But also when you look at that, is too is what happened under King David. He had all the nations in subjection.
Yep.
Right. And everything was good.
Yep. And for the most part, they happily served under David. Look what what was his name? Hiram from Tyre. Hiram. Look what Hiram when Solomon commissioned him to get all the cedar wood or whatever type of wood it was. He was like, "Hey, blessed be the Most High." He was like, "Hey, yeah, for sure, let's get it."
What does that prove, man? When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
That's right. That's right.
Precept. Isaiah 1 verse 26, "And I will restore thy judges as at the first, and the counselors as at the beginning. Okay. Afterward thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness." You see, so we're not going to be no longer called, that bloody city, or that the city. What's the other name? Basically, that city that has been made desolate, or that city that the other nations looked upon and was like, man, these people in this place can't be the place for the people of the
right. Is this Jerusalem? It's
supposed
to be the excellency of the Lord's beauty. This is y'all? Oh no.
Right.
You know what you're talking about.
Beauty and perfection.
Right, yep. Yep. And I was thinking too, like, touching back briefly on that Lazarus analogy, how we was beat down. Eventually we died off as a nation, spiritually. We lost our heritage, but the Lord's going to bring us back, glorified bodies. He's going to seal up those different sores, likened unto the breaches of that tabernacle of David. Okay. And we're going to be raised glorified,
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Verse back in Amos 9 verse 12, it says that they may possess the remnant of Edom in all the heathen, which are called by my name, saith the Lord, that doeth this. You see, so we're going to possess Edom and all the heathen. Okay. Right. Now, you look into, I believe, when you go further and looking deep into it, I'm not going to touch on it too much. You go further deep into it. In that wording, they worded it wrong, because we already know that the heathen were never called by the Lord's name. So that's just, that's another topic if brothers want to go into that. So when you get the scripture, what is it? If I get it real quick, 60. Prove that real quick. Prove all things. Isaiah 60.
Yeah, that's actually quoted in the New Testament, if I can find it.
Because I know it's Isaiah 60. Oh, got it right here. Boom. Isaiah 63 verse 17. It says, "O Lord, why hast thou made us to err from thy ways, and harden our heart from thy fear? Return for thy servant's sake the tribes of thine inheritance. The people of thy holiness have possessed it but a little while," right? So we already know, establishing reading context, that it's talking about the Israelites. Okay, so what is it talking about? We possessed it for a little while. It's speaking of the Holy Land, because in all honest actuality, we haven't ruled in our Holy Land for a long time, as people really think we do. Because as the people of thy holiness have possessed it but a little while, our adversaries have trodden down thy sanctuary. We are thine. Thou never fearest rule over them, meaning the heathen. They were not called by thy name. Here you go. Heathens was never called by the Lord's name.
Mhm.
But we can't hear you. Was you saying something? Oh,
Yeah, I think he has to join the chat again.
okay.
There he is.
Yeah,
So
you'll be cutting out Salakia. I had a precept back going into. Go ahead, bro.
no, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, so that what you quoted earlier, it's actually quoted in the book of Acts, right? And it kind of explains it a little better because we know that, like the brother just brought out, that that last word is when it cut out. They were not called after thy name, right? Talking about these other nations, right? So we know that these Gentiles can't be these other nations. Acts 15 and 16 says, after this, I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down. I will build again the ruins thereof and will set it up, like the bro just was quoting or reading, right? That the residue of men might seek after the Lord, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith the Lord, who doeth all these things. So this is talking about the Israelites that are scattered among the heathen, that are really Israelites, that have the name Yasharallah upon them, actually. Okay, not these other nations, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's kind of worded differently in the one that the bro was reading.
Yeah, right, because we know, upon whom my name is called. Right. Fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ain't no heathen, man.
Nope. Those are Israelites, man.
Hell no.
Right. Hey, I believe it was Peter who said it to Cornelius that that the Lord showed him that in all nations where men fear him, the Lord have mercy upon.
Yep.
Roughly paraphrasing.
Yep.
Right? And then they're talking about Israelites who are scattered amongst these nations. You know?
Right.
Oh.
Just like
And
yeah. In Tobit, the 13th chapter, it says, confess him before the Gentiles because he had scattered us among them.
Yeah.
Right? So the other nations are not called by the Lord's name. All right?
Yep.
He's-
Ezekiel 36 and 24. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land. So if you stay there long enough, you're going to end up sounding and looking like these people. But he's going to take you out of these places. Slaki, go ahead, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
Or if you don't do what the Lord says in certain situations, as he was telling us, they would be a thorn in your side.
Yeah.
Which has happened numerous times.
Yep, that's why it goes right back to what it said in Deuteronomy. Then the heathen that is among thee shall get above thee. You know, they get to get above thee. If you slip, I'm gonna put these nations over you, and that's what happened with you starting off with the Hamites. You know, because them was the ones we were supposed to get out of the land was the Canaanites.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get them out the land, and they ended up becoming a snare unto us because we started going off.
Right.
Back on Amos 9 verse 13, it says, behold, the days come, said the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes, him that soweth seed, and the mountains shall drop sweet wine, all the hills shall melt, and I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them, and I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled out of their land, which I have given them, saith the Lord thy power. And this same land that's being spoken about is what? The land of Canaan, which was promised, right, through our forefathers, Abraham and his seed. You other nations, y'all was never, that has nothing to do with you other nations, man. Nothing to do with you other nations. So you're definitely not included. So when you want to talk about the father of Abraham of many nations and this and that, man, that's talking about Israel, man. That's not talking about you. You even ain't part of that, man. You see, through Abraham, roughly paraphrasing, all nations shall be blessed because of Israel. That's it. That's
right,
all.
yep.
That's and they like to talk about because they say, well, everyone comes through Abraham. No, everybody comes from Noah.
That's right.
And through his and through Noah and his three sons, Salah, and his three sons, not through Abraham. Abraham didn't have all the nations throughout the earth, but it was through Noah's three sons, man. So you people, you say anything, man.
The air not knowing the scriptures, they scrambling to try to prove this wickedness that they believe in, man.
But going reading at the top a little bit, like as it says, we're going to have everything, how the nations of Edom, especially Edom, have been the plowman, right? That we are going to be eventually Slakia. Slakia. Plowman is the person that's going to work. So we known as being the plowman, we're going to overtake the reaper. The reaper is the one that's doing all the gathering.
Yeah.
So we're the ones going to eventually come out on top. Take it short. Right. And then once we get put back into our land, we're not going to get pulled out again. Just to sum that up. It's on you, bro.
Right. Yeah. And just so you Christians out there and Jake don't get simple when it says I will bring again the captivity. When you look into the word bring again in the Hebrew, it's shawab, which means to turn back, to come or go back, meaning he's gonna flip it, right? We were in captivity, and now he's gonna flip the situation to where we're not in captivity again, right? Just so you're not thinking that it says he's gonna bring us back in there, and go back this is not making any sense.
I know you niggas are gonna go back into slavery,
right?
Damn heathens. So I had a precept, 2nd Ezra 2, and I'm starting at verse.
I've only got a couple minutes, and I gotta get ready to.
Okay.
So I want to continue, what I'm saying?
Yeah. Once you leave, we'll just wrap. I'll just read the rest of these and wrap it up.
Go ahead, bro.
All right, 2nd Ezra 2, and I'll just start at 7 just to get the point that I wanted to get, and then I'll skip to 10. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. Let their names be put out of the earth, for they have despised my covenant. Just letting you know, we were scattered among the heathen, and we lost the remembrance of who we were, and we began to think that we were these heathen. Okay, as a punishment for what we did, So don't get simple when it said that the Gentiles is going to seek to the Most High, Go ahead, brother.
What does it say in the book of Jeremiah?
Thou shalt forget thy heritage.
Yeah, you shall discontinue from thy heritage.
Yep, even thyself shall discontinue from the heritage which I have given to thee.
Yep. So what you think? So when they became Gentiles, right? Gentiles in the flesh with a Gentile state of mind. What happened? They have forgotten their heritage. When it got to the point where our people start raising their children and speak the languages of the heathens, and they didn't know their own language, that was a shown that they have forgotten their true heritage.
That was a fulfillment. All right, so the point I wanted to get was in verse 10, 2nd Ezra 2 and 10. Thus saith the Lord unto Ezra, tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I would have given unto Israel. Okay, their glory also will I take unto me, and give these the everlasting tabernacles which I had prepared for them. So what is going into this is like going into the mystery of the Gentiles, because he's talked about in this same chapter about scattering us and having us forget our names. Then when you go into the New Testament, or forget who we were, forget our heritage. Then when you go into the New Testament, it talks about the Gentiles and them that were of Israel didn't accept them. Well, those are the people who was near. Those are the people who knew what their heritage was, but they didn't accept the Son. Okay, they didn't accept the Savior. Okay, and then it went to the Gentiles who were also of the nation of Israel, who were afar off. That's why it sounds like that. Verse 10, 2nd Ezra 2 and 10. Thus saith the Lord unto Ezra, tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I would have given unto Israel. So it's still saying my people. They're still Israelites, but they're just not knowing that they're Israelites. They're coming back to that knowledge. Verse 11, their glory also will I take unto me, and give these the everlasting tabernacles which I had prepared for them. Okay, so you're talking about these, talking about the elect which he predestined from the foundation of the earth, which are Israelites. So, like it talked about, the natural branches being broken off and the wild olive tree branches being grafted in. That's the Gentiles of the nation of Israel being grafted back in, because he prepared that for them from the foundation of the earth. Go ahead, bro.
Right, because Yahweh said, he says, I have other sheep that are not of this fold.
Of this fold, that's right.
Right, and we know in the scriptures Israel is referred to the lost sheep.
Yeah,
right,
the house of Israel. That's right.
Yeah, the other sheep not of this fold, talking about those other 10 tribes that came over to the Americas, right? The
Yep.
so-called Latinos and the Native Americans.
Yep. Hey, you know what? Which makes even more sense as well, because if I'm not mistaken, during that time, the Northern Kingdom was already gone.
Yeah, they were already gone.
The only people that was there was Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. There may have been some scatterings, but for the most part, the Northern Kingdom was gone. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. I have other sheep I have that are not of this fold, because it's gonna be 12,000 from each tribe, man.
Kind of. Right. And Cornelius was one of those Israelites from another tribe, who was probably from one of the 10 tribes. Well, he was from one of the 10 tribes, but we don't know which tribe exactly.
Okay.
Hey,
I'm not really versed on it. He could have, I don't know what information you had to back that up. He could have been a Judite that was just having heathenistic customs.
Could have been, but could have been a Northern Kingdom too, because you had some of them among them.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We'll see. When Peter comes to him, he says, it is not lawful for a man that is a Jew to come unto one that is of another nation. But when you go into that word nation, is going into the word one of the 12 tribes.
Yep.
To come unto one that's of another tribe. Yep. We know at that time you had Judah, Benjamin, Levi living together. They were calling them the Jews collectively. Right. So yeah, there was some scattering in there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, you got any more? I'll just start going through these precepts.
And you got into that where you got the situation where you got a lot of Jews that looked at a lot of other Jews as not being a tribe at all. Just like
it's being heathen because of the customs they kept. I was gonna mention that, but
I mean, we know y'all tribes, but they y'all heathen.
Yeah, man. And there was a strong contention about that too, to where they had to send down decrees and say, well, let's not charge them with this and charge them with that. Let's just have them do these commandments, and they'll pick up the rest of them along the way. So yeah, both points can be made. That's why I just was kind of like, whatever. We'll just go to the next.
Yeah, because we'll see Cornelius in the kingdom, and
we'll know. Hey, Lord willing, we'll get to watch a movie of all these things play out. We can picture it in our minds, but Lord willing, we'll get to play back history, man. That'd be cool.
There was different things. There was different, not customs, but there was different things that different tribes might have done. Certain beads and certain little different differences they might have. Was like, okay, but remember, another thing is when we came to meet each other and greet each other, we did kind of like announcements too, like such and such tribe. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, that's true. Yep. So, ain't no telling Cornelius might have had a shaved head or anything. Who knows, man?
Yeah, who knows? But we in fact do know that Cornelius was an Israelite.
That's right.
Bro, you bug out there, man.
That's right. All right, so let's see here.
It's I believe we're gonna do the Isaiah 60 and Revelation 2, and then we can close
out. Okay. I got Isaiah 60.
I got Isaiah 61.
Where you want to just start at verse 1? Start at verse 1, bro. Of Isaiah 60. Arise, shine, for thy light is come.
I'm thinking 10.
Okay, yeah. So Isaiah 60 and 10. And the sons of the strangers shall build up thy walls, and their king shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Hey, rags the riches, man. Rags the riches. He smote us, and then he gonna turn it around, and we gonna be smiting these nations, man, breaking them with a rod of iron. Verse 11. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually; they shall not be shut day nor night. that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. You know, so I think that's probably the point the bro wanted. Is there some more on that, or is that it? Ooh, there's some more. I can skip. I'm gonna skip down probably to. Yeah, I'll just keep reading. Verse 12: For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish; yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. Verse 13. Yep. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary. And I will make the place of my feet glorious. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. And they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, to the Zion of the Holy One of Israel, the memorial to Zion. Verse 15.
Yeah, because man, you know that all the different spoils, all the different things, these heathens are going to bring to us.
Oh yeah.
And they're going to come, like it says, bowing down, meaning they're going to be coming in a way of subjection.
Humility.
Yeah. Right. And you nations that what? You don't serve us, what's going to happen to you? This is the kingdom. Why don't they read this? Why don't they read talk about in the kingdom of heaven? This is what's going to happen. Because at the end of the day, somebody got to be the ruler. Don't be mad because we are proclaiming to be the people of the Lord, which we know we are through the Spirit, and we're proclaiming to be the rulers. No, you didn't proclaim to say, okay, y'all the children of Israel, we're going to be the rulers in the kingdom. No, we did. And now y'all mad that we said it.
Well, they do proclaim that. Them false Jews do proclaim that.
You know what? And they're right. They do in a false way. But as is this is the kingdom now.
Oh, right. Now, see, this is what I want to say. Kind of give you a worldly what Jake would say. Don't get mad because a player got chose now. Don't be mad because a player got chose. You can't be mad because we didn't choose the Lord. You know, we just speaking the truth. The Lord chose us. So don't get mad at us, or don't get mad at the messenger. You know, you can get mad at the message, maybe. You know, which hey, they're gonna try to kill the prophets anyway. But we didn't choose this, man. This just so happened to be the way the chips fell, man. Okay. So we dealing with our lot. You know, we dealing with the bitter right now. We gonna have the sweet. Y'all sweeten it up right now. You ready for that bitter, man? You know?
Right. Hey, and this is just going right into this scripture right here. This is Isaiah 61:1. It says, "The spirit of the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai is upon me, because the Lord Yahweh hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek," right? The lowly. "He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim the liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prisons to them that are bound." Right. So, hey, us, the Israelites are bound, man. We're in our prison, man. We're in our captivity, right? We're under the hands of our enemies, right? And they're not, they ain't trying to let us go, right? Because we help the kingdom to flourish, right? Through all the work that we put in, right? It says to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our power, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, right? Oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, that the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. They shall build the old waste, they shall raise up the former desolations. They shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations, right? So we're going to be restored unto that kingdom. We're going to have our kingdom built up again, right? Verse 5, "And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien," which means stranger also, "shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers."
Slave.
Servant.
Slave. That's what we're being.
It says, "But ye shall be named the priest of the Lord. Men shall call you the ministers of the Most High. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. Right?
That's right.
Yep.
Right. So we're gonna be boasting ourselves and all the riches. They're gonna be bringing us gems, jewels, right? Cattle, right? Gold, silver, women, other slaves themselves, right? We're gonna boast ourselves in their riches. It says, for your shame ye shall have double, and for your confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. For I, the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, love judgment and hate robbery for burnt offering, and I will direct their work in truth, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them. Right? The children of Israel. It says, and their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people, and all that see them shall acknowledge them, and they are the Salakia, that they are the seed which the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai have blessed.
Plainly.
That's the
That's
point.
it. That we are the people of the Lord.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. What's next? Got some more precepts? I got a few.
Verse 10.
Go ahead, brother. Keep going.
Verse 10. It says, I will greatly rejoice in the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. My soul shall be joyful in my power, and he hath clothed me with the garments of salvation. He hath covered me with the robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with her jewels. Right. It says, for as the earth bringeth forth her bud, and as the garden causeth things that are sown in it to spring forth, so the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all nations. Right, and that's the whole chapter right there.
That's the point.
Yeah, that's the point. So
that's what's gonna take place, man. You know, the Lord's gonna clean us up, gonna take us out of that morning state. You know, we're gonna have on them beautiful garments. You know, everything is gonna be put back in its respectful order.
God.
That's right. Got a precept.
You know, you still got some on your Isaiah 60.
Let me see. Isaiah 60.
You skip verse 16.
All right, let me go back to Isaiah 60. Okay. Start at verse 16.
Yep.
Thou shalt also suck the milk of the. I was at 14.
Did you read it already? Read 14 again.
Isaiah 60 and 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. All they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. And they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel, or the memorial, to Zion. Like
there you go.
Yeah,
what it say is they shall bow themselves at thy feet.
Yep.
Right? That's when we truly gonna be blessed. When they're kneeling, right? Coming from the Hebrew word barak, which means to kneel. Right? We're gonna be blessed when they're kneeling before us, when they're bowing down.
Verse 15, whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations.
Hey, and that right there, you know how we always read that camp most of the time we start off, Isaiah 62 and 6. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem. Basically we I'm right here. Isaiah 62 verse 6 says, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord keep not silence, and give them no rest till he establishes until he makes Jerusalem a praise
in the earth.
You see, so right here, it's letting you know that we was despised and hated, but all that's about to be flipped around.
That's right. It's right, brother.
Like what? Whereas thou has been forsaken and hated.
So that no man went through thee. I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations, a praise in the earth.
Excellency.
Verse
Right.
16.
And that's another reason why we're not we're not to keep silence, man, because we gotta wake up the elect so we can receive this. You know? That's why as we read before in Isaiah 61, it says the Spirit is upon me to preach good tidings unto the meek, right? Unto the elect. It says, He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, right? So that's another reason why we can't keep silent, right? Because we have to get this news out to the meek, man, out to the captives, you know,
That's right.
so they can wake up and and we can get the kingdom.
It's right. Isaiah 60 and 16. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings, and thou shalt know that I, Yahweh, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob.
Right. 21 and 22.
Verse 21 and 22. Isaiah 60, 21. All right. Thy people also shall be all righteous, that they shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified.
Right. So the branch of the Lord's planting, that noble vine, is Israel.
That's right.
See, and what's going to make us all righteousness? The covenant is that's going to be written in our inward parts. We're not going to go off no more. That doesn't apply to the other nations. But wait a minute. What do they say? Oh, that's the Old Testament. Do away with the Old Testament. Well, then shit. All these future prophecies that need to come to pass, and you just saying, forget the kingdom.
That's right.
That's coming with the kingdom.
That's right. And
right.
yeah, man. And it's all backwards, man. Because when we show them that, they say, well, of course, the second coming, of course that. Well, yeah, who's gonna establish this kingdom, man? Yahweh Shai. So that hasn't been fulfilled, which was written of him, that he's that he's supposed to come back and do these things, man.
Yeah.
And more precepts. Go ahead.
To those who say forget the Old Testament, these Christians who say, oh, that was in the Old Testament, and it like what's this guy's name? So Real try to say, oh, we're already underneath the new covenant, right? Oh, that was just the Old Testament. Well, if you take out the Old Testament and forget about that, did you not know in the New Testament that it's quoting the Old Testament for the covenant?
So you got nothing to quote. You got nothing to read from them, basically.
Right.
Yeah. You got nothing
That's
to read
all the
from
prophets had back then was the Old Testament.
The Old Testament. Yep. And you got nothing. You shouldn't be out here talking to us. Then, if we're in a new covenant, why are you teaching your neighbor? Ain't we all supposed to know the Lord? You niggas is full of crap, man.
Right. All shall know me, even from the least of them unto the greatest of them.
That's right.
None shall say, know the Lord,
know the Lord,
all shall know me.
That's right. So yeah, man. There won't be no more sin, but they don't understand it. Yeah, I know you got to go. I got a few closeouts. If you
we
quick
close it out.
Quick ones. Few closeouts. All right, I'm gonna start at Psalm 37 and 11. Okay. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. Okay. It basically goes into the time of the wicked being short, but the meek shall inherit the earth. So just going into, man, we're gonna go from those. If we are of the elect, we're gonna go from rags to riches. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 15. But the righteous live forevermore. Their reward also is with the Lord, and the care of them is with the Most High. Therefore shall they receive a glorious kingdom and a beautiful crown from the Lord's hand. For with his right hand he shall cover them, and with his arm he shall he protect them. Okay. Tobit 13 and 15. Let my soul bless the Most High, the great King. For Jerusalem shall be built up with sapphires and emeralds and precious stone. Thy walls and towers and battlements with pure gold. And the streets of Jerusalem shall be paved with beryl and carbuncle and stones of Ophir. And all her streets shall say hallelujah. And they shall praise him, saying, blessed be the Most High, which extolled it forever. And then I got one more scripture. We can close out. Baruch 5 and 1. Put off, O Jerusalem, the garment of mourning and affliction, and put on the comeliness of the glory that cometh from the Most High forever. Cast about thee a double garment of the righteousness which cometh from the Most High, and set a diadem, meaning a crown, on thine head of the glory of the everlasting.
Right.
So that's it, man.
I
These are all
got-
things that's coming to us. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I got one right here.
Ultimately, waiting
Close
for
out.
the crown. Hawashai.
Yep, that's right. If we
Con,
be a part of the 144,000, we'll receive a crown from Yahweh Shai, man.
con. This is 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 8. It says, he raiseth up the poor, Salakia. Let me get 7. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up again. Right? So we were brought low, right? We were brought into this low condition, the Israelites. And now he's raising us up right now as we speak. Right? He raiseth up the poor out of the dust, and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes, to make him inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he has set the world upon them. Right? So right now, as we speak, man, we're in the beginning stages of inheriting that throne of glory, man. Right? To be sitting among the princes, man. To become princes. Right? So
right.
yeah.
Right.
And
Right now, we're learning how to be judges. You know what I'm saying? How to correct ourselves and how to be a proper ruler, proper judge.
Mhm.
Do the way job out, of course, which is the only way. The only way that's the right way. Shit.
Yep. You can't come up some other way. If you do, you a thief, man. You got to go through that straight gate, through the proper order and through that discipline, And plus, hey, we humans, we in this sinful flesh, but there's a right way to go about it, man. That's the only way, like the brother said. You'll close us out, bro.
Yeah, well, with that, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone. And shalom to the hopeful elect brethren, teaching and pushing his word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom.
Shalom.